What's up, everybody? Coach CeeLo here, and welcome to the next podcast of the No Bullshit Six-Figure Sales Podcast. And today, we've got somebody here who has made a living, very nice living, six-figure living, knocking on doors. Some of us that started in sales, we started there. This gentleman, along with his cousin, got into a business, I'm going to let him explain it later, having to do with magazines and advertisings, knocking on doors. He's been doing it since he was a child. Somebody who's very good friends with a very, very good friend of mine. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Ari de los Santos. Ari, how you doing, man?
Hey, great. I'm glad to be here, man. Pleasure to meet you, Christian.
I'm very, very happy to hear. So listen, I always, in the beginning, just to start off, I always let the person just kind of give us a little bit of their story arc so the audience knows who I got in front of me, right? So why don't you tell us how Ari de los Santos became the person in front of me right now?
Well, I come from parents who were immigrants. My dad came from Cuba in 1960. My mom came from Ecuador in the early 70s. And I was born 75, born I lived in Color Ridge for my early childhood, and just worked my way up. I mean, that's basically my basic childhood. I was blessed. My parents, sacrificed, put me in Catholic school, so I had a good childhood with that. And I went from there. As far as sales, at 4 years old, I've always been a natural born salesman. I had a little red wagon, and at the rest stops on the way to Disney World, I would get all the little flyers of SeaWorld and Disney World and Busch Gardens, and I would gather all those, and I would go door to door in my neighborhood in Saga Bay, and I would sell them 5 cents, 10 cents, knocking on doors. So that's just, nobody told me. I'm just a natural born salesman. My mom's always said it. Yeah.
And what would your parents walk with you when you did it? How they just let you go because it was safe? Saga Bay back then was
it was safe. Yeah, I would just go, and it started off like that. It started off with the selling flyers.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm assuming because my story's similar, so I'm assuming when you were in school, you also started. Like for example, I'll tell you one that I just remembered. I've never even mentioned this on a camera. I had a buddy of mine. His name was Michael. And he was a computer geek, like back when computers were just coming out, as a matter of fact. Like I still didn't know, and I don't know anything now, but I mean, I sure as hell didn't know anything then. And when you go to the hardware stores, the screens that go in the window, right? There's this little rubber that's like the seal that goes around those screens. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that rubber, it looks like almost like a copper wire without the copper inside. It was hollow inside. So we would buy those different colors, brown, black, and whatever colors they would have. And then we'd get a little toothpick, cut a little piece, and we'd glue one side, and we'd make rings and bracelets and like necklaces. And it became a thing at school. And so we were making bread until they shut us down. They didn't like it.
The same thing would happen with me. They would shut me down. I went from flyers and whatnot in my school, garbage pail kids, baseball cards.
I remember.
I ended up getting the firework catalog from like Spectrum down the street or whatever, and I would take out the prices. They put in their order, and I would sell them fireworks. And then it just kept on escalating.
Did you guys ever have the world's finest chocolate in school? Those fundraisers, man. I used to love that thing, bro.
You know what? I never had the world. I've seen them, but in my school we never had. I went to Epiphany. It was a Catholic school. We never had that type. We had other types. But,
so they would come and they would sell them, and they had chocolate and they had almonds, right? And if you were one of the top sellers, they would give you like an extra 2 or 3 boxes that you could either eat, which I've always been an eater, right? So I would keep one, and the other one I would sell, and then I would keep that money, even though the rest of it, of course, was for whatever charity, the school charity or whatever it was.
So you'd sell enough just to...
Dude, I would make a killing. And I lived in an apartment building, right? And the apartment buildings were all full of old people. So I'm like the young kid in that apartment. Everybody loved me. Everybody knew me. They let me get away. I'd be playing music super loud and nobody would bitch or complain because I was like the grandson of all of them, right? Now, the great thing about apartment buildings, which is a great thing about knocking doors, I used to do this when I did alarm systems too, is the fact that, you know, when you're in a neighborhood and you're knocking doors, bro, you got to walk to the next house. You got to walk to, in an apartment, man, it's like next door, next door, next door, next door, next door. So I wouldn't even leave my buildings, right? There's 5 buildings connected to each other. I wouldn't have to leave that whole area. I would just go all the way and then go down 1 floor, go all the way. By the time I was done, 2-3 hours later, I sold everything, man. Nice. It's crazy.
It was easier for you then.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to walk house to house to suck away. And then I started a lawn service as well. That was when I was 9. That was another thing, knocking on doors. I was selling my lawn service. And I built that till I was 25 and I sold that. But, you know, when I was 14, I ventured into a different type of sell. I got into marijuana and I, you know, got into that heavily. And, you know, I kind of went down a different path, you know. It was probably the wrong path, obviously, but that's where my life took. And I did that for many years. And it kind of took me away from, you know, just being more, my mom always said, you know, Ari, tú tienes un don. Everybody has their gift from God. And I you know, I was using it for the wrong thing, you know, and you know, that's what happened. And I learned my lesson. I had to pay the price in a few years of my life. But then I got back on track and, you know, I met up with my cousin one day and, you know, he had started one magazine and I didn't, at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life because, you know, I had a record. And he said, you know, look, I started this magazine. I don't know what to do. I don't trust anyone to start, you know, as a partner. And I looked at it and I go, I'm a salesman, man. I go, we'll get this going quick. And here we are, you know, now I have 6 magazines, you know, doing direct mail.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how's your lead gen for all of the magazines? Is it all advertising on the magazines?
Yeah,
so it's completely all advertising.
Completely advertising, yeah.
All right. So for those of you that aren't familiar, right, you might get something similar like that in the mail for you guys. But as soon as he showed me his, I recognized it instantly. I've literally been getting those in my mailbox for years and years and years. We used to also have, actually, I haven't seen that in years. The flyer, is that still around?
What? I think
there used to be this little paper that would come in the mail called the flyer that kind of had stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And in other places, it was the same company, but it was called Penny Saver or something like that, right?
Slowly, I would see it too. Slowly, it's just gotten thinner and thinner. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the whole social media, the whole, you know, thing has blown up and it's great as well.
Are these also available online or is it just?
I have a website online. We looked into it as maybe doing digital coupons. We haven't done it yet. But right now it's just, you know, each magazine goes out to a pertaining area.
And it's still working, obviously, because you guys are making 6 figures, right?
Exactly. So I always tell people, you know, people get results at the end of the day. You have to get your mail every day. And this is the biggest piece you could actually put in the mail by USPS. So each one goes out 10,000 homes each, you know, so we go out to 60,000 homes a month.
Every week?
No, once a month. Once a month. 60,000 homes.
Once a month.
Between all 6.
So how do you actually find your advertisers? It's you doing it, right?
Me and my cousin.
How do you go out there and find them?
Knock on doors. I just knock on doors, man.
Really?
That's what I do.
Now, when you say knocking on doors, you mean like business doors?
Yeah, business.
So find a shopping center.
Correct.
Go one by 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 one, and then next one, and maybe you have a route or something that you follow.
I always say I hear 20 no's to hear that one yes. If you don't hear the no's in what I do, you're not going to hear the yes. Because that's the door-to-door salesman, you know?
And then you have your repeat people.
Right.
There's only so much space that you can fill in there.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you feel like one's going to be leaving soon, you got to start getting ready to fill another one up.
Yeah.
Now, if you get more and more, what do? You just add an extra page?
No,
or
ours is just set. You know, each one has 24 spots. We don't add extra pages.
I like that.
So there's a
little bit of urgency there.
Correct.
You know, and also, if one is coming out, you can call somebody and say, hey, look, I know you've been wanting to for a while, but I just got one spot. You know how this is. So that kind of adds a little urgency to it.
Exactly. And I always have my list, obviously, of people that are, you know, waiting or, you know, good leads as well, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, listen, when I knocked on doors, I had some pretty crazy stories. I talked about one time on here. Any crazy stuff that's ever happened to you?
I only have one crazy story as far as it happened with my cousin coincidentally. Everywhere I go, you always see the no solicitation signs.
Yeah.
And I've always
I
said,
would knock anyway.
And I would laugh. I said, if I were not to go into a business to say no, I would never leave. I would never walk into any business. I walk into every business. One time, this was a long time ago, maybe about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, in the beginning when I started, I walked into a business and it was like some kind of flower shop. It was kind of like right there on 48th Street and Bird, right there in little warehouses. I forgot what the lady did, some kind of flower, some kind of floral thing. That lady was having a bad day. We walked in there. Again, we started, she goes, didn't you see the sign? It says no solicitation. I was like, I didn't want to say nothing. She goes, I just got robbed by one of my employees for thousands, like tens of thousands of dollars. And I said, look, I'm sorry. Okay, hey, we're walking out. But she was really mad. And when I left, I told my cousin, I go, I wonder why she got robbed. She wow. She really went overboard. The only time in my life that's happened, like she went overboard. Like I guess she was having a bad day.
Well, clearly she got robbed. Yeah, yeah.
But well.
I remember a couple times I would see no solicitation, and clearly no solicitation means no solicitation. But what I would do is I would knock on the door and I'd be like, listen, I was just talking to your neighbors about this and this and this. He's like, have you not seen no? Oh, no. I wasn't going to solicit you. I was just letting you know that there's been, because a lot of times what I would do is, remember the news inside the Miami Herald, there used to be a section called Neighbors.
Of course.
Right. And the Neighbors section, it wouldn't give you the address, but it would tell you where it would say on the corner of or on the block of whatever in this avenue, there was a report for a break-in or whatever. So rather than, be knocking forever, I would do that in the condos, but I'd go right to where the block of where I knew there was a break-in, and I'm just like, hey, do you guys know? And then the first thing I'm trying to do is find out what house that was, because I'm going to go there first because that's a guaranteed, right? But then that was the end to talk to everybody else. Hey, you heard that so-and-so got broken into, and now you're mentioning their neighbor's name, and they're like, yeah. So if they'd have like a no solicitation or whatever, I'd knock and I'd be like, hey, didn't you see no? Oh, I'm not here to solicit. I'm just here to let you know. Do you know your neighbor got? Oh, they did? Yeah. And I'm like, look, I'm not here to solicit, but do you want me to tell you about what we're doing? Well, go ahead. And sometimes it would land in a deal. Sometimes they'd be like, you're still soliciting. All right. I'm gone. Have a nice day. Whatever. What are you going to do?
Well, yeah. When you knock on doors, the first thing people put up a wall. That's the first thing. Everyone, who am I? I'm showing up here. They don't know you. The trick I use is I'll have the flyers, and sometimes I'll just, I'm just giving out free coupons. I'm giving out coupons. Oh, okay. Now I'm not soliciting. I'm giving you free coupons. I have coupons in my magazine, and a lot of the time, believe it or not, I'll get leads just from that. Just from look. I'll leave a minute later. Hey, come back. Oh, the owner just saw it. They're interested. So that's always a good way. And plus, it also helps my clients. In the area, I always name businesses that are close to where I'm at. Say, look, there's a pizza place close by. You gotta have lunch. So that's always been a good way to get their guard down, I'm not pitching.
Right.
Sometimes it turns into a pitch. Now they have their guard down, and then I'll start,
Or sometimes you can get a double whammy because you're knocking on the door on like a regular door, a house door for something, and you find out they own a business, and now you're pitching them on the business, right? Or vice versa,
Yeah, that happens as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, once you get that person's guard down, it makes your job a lot easier as a salesman, especially a door-to-door salesman. Because, the first thing, you walk in, everyone's looking at you like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Usually a little bit of humor or something gets them going. And,
yeah, of course. That works.
And gets good.
Yeah.
So, all right. How many years have you been doing this?
My cousin's been doing it for 15. I've been doing it for 10. Yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years.
Wow. Nice. So, listen, we've got a pretty cool, very diverse group of salespeople and entrepreneurs that listen to the podcast. But there's some of them actually that are still door-to-door guys that knock on doors and stuff. So what would you say some good advice to give them in terms of doing what you're doing and how you keep your mindset right and how you know what I mean? First of all, are there certain days when you do it and you do it for certain hours, or do you go out every day to knock on doors, or what exactly is your routine?
Well, my morning, I like to be, when I wake up, get going. I like to, look at my list, follow-ups. I mean, in my business, follow-ups is huge. I mean, you're going door to door. Most business owners aren't there every day. So part of it, my word I've always said is I'm hunting. I got to find these owners. When I walk into any place, I got to get their name. I got to get the owner's name. If I can, get the owner's number. So next time I walk in, now I'm walking in, let me talk to this, so-and-so. So now it looks like I know him.
Right.
Because usually you walk into a business and say, can I talk to the owner? They're not going to tell you who the owner is. But if I walk in and say, hey, let me take the mic, now Mike will come out. And then once I talk to Mike, then it makes it a lot easier.
Are you saving their name on your phone?
I have a whole record. Every time I see somebody, I put in the name of the business. I put in the name of the guy. If I could put in the phone number, even better. Yeah, that's the first part. Then I look down my list, which leads were more promising that I could follow up on. Yeah, and then just little by little, organize myself like that.
So your cousin had the business for 5 years before you came in.
Yes.
Right. Before you came in, it wasn't as successful as it is right now.
No, it was. It's just he had started one magazine. He had Westchester, and my cousin's not a natural born salesman. He's become a great salesman now. He told me when he first started, he would walk into a place and he would get jittery. Me, I'm a natural. I walk into a business, it's like normal for me. Like I don't get jittery. It's just I'll talk to you like a normal person. But now everyone, like even my brother sells alcohol. He works for Southern Wine, and he wasn't a natural born salesman. Now he's a great, selling alcohol. But me, it's just a natural thing. So, I mean, it's just.
So what did you do to take it from where it was to this business that's producing multiple six figures, right? Because if you're making six figures, if he's making six figures, then clearly it's a lot bigger, right?
It's great teamwork. Me and my cousin, it's great teamwork. Me and him have a great connection. We got, we get along great, and that's huge, And he, like I said, he's become a great salesman too. To start a new area, we just hit it. It takes us about 2 to 3 months, usually about 3 months to start a new area. And the last one we just started was Pembroke Pines. Now we've kind of stopped. The Pembroke Pines we started about a year ago, and actually we have somebody that's working that area. We got another person working for us that's working that area as well. That's his, Pembroke Pines.
That's like his territory. So
Yeah,
now
it's
you're
his territory.
dividing it in territories.
Yeah, because it gets to a point where how many magazines could me and my cousin, be on top of, Yeah.
And I don't know, like how many do you want to end up having over time?
I mean, I don't know. We've been looking at a couple new areas, maybe in a Hialeah one, starting another West Kendall, because we have a West Kendall starting, because West Kendall it's a big area, we do 10,000, we do a couple zip codes in each magazine. So there's space, there's always space to grow. We just got to look at it. And also you got to start at a good time. Right now there's a lot of, with the economy and everything going on, you got to start at the right time to get one going. So, I mean, sure, we've been looking at it, maybe another Hialeah.
And every time you open a new one, you're looking for businesses that are local to that specific area, right?
Well, for the most part, yes. Obviously, if you have a service business, if you're an AC guy, a plumber, you could do. We have people that do multiple areas.
They have to pay more to be in multiple areas.
Like a service business, you could do any area,
right?
But whereas the core people will be in that area. Obviously, I've had restaurants. People I meet have a restaurant outside the area. And I've always told people, I don't want to take your money. Let's say if your business is in Cutler Ridge and you're looking at the Pinecrest, it's too far outside the area. It's not worth it. People are not going to drive all the way over there to have a hamburger in Cutler Ridge if you live in Pinecrest.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I don't want to take your money. That's why. So I mean, I like to keep it in the area, within the area of each magazine for the actual home mom and pop places. Again, if you're a plumber, a roofer, I have roofers that do multiple areas. I have, I have a cantina that does all the areas. I have a few people that do all the areas, they do all the areas. It depends on the business.
But what I'm saying is if you opened up a new one, right? Let's say one of these that can do you tell them, all right, I'm going to add you onto the area for this amount extra, or?
I would talk to some of my clients that do service businesses. Yeah.
Because that's a easy way of adding
definitely
advertising on
definitely,
it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like there's a couple clients that I could do that with, yeah. But the rest of them I have to fill in with, mom and pop. That's what I deal, mom and pop, small businesses. That's what we deal with.
So how many of these do you have already? How many newspapers magazines do you have?
I have 6 magazines.
You have 6 magazines.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to grow it by areas, is it easier to just hire somebody, teach them to do what you're doing, maybe train them and let them go? Or is it more like a franchise thing where you're selling them a franchise? Hey, look, maybe somebody outside of Florida says, I love that idea. They're making 6 figures. How can I do that? And you say, well, you know, it'll cost you X amount. We'll go up there. We'll work it with you. We'll teach you how to do it. And then you got your business. I don't know. I'm just thinking, let my mind go, you know?
Yeah, but on the last one, which is Pembroke Pines, you know, a young kid came to us and he was, you know, he liked our product and we taught him basically. So he runs his own, you know, we do all the support. We do all the back, all everything in the back, from the printing to the packaging.
All the back, which is good because then that means it's still.
He just has to sell. He has to sell, you know. And then, you know, we trained him. We trained him, and he takes care of Pepper Pines, you know. So we have it like literally franchise. I say franchise because, you know, he has his own over there, but at the end of the day, we give him all the help. He gets all the support by us, you know. We take care of everything else, you know. He just has to sell. That's it.
Now, do you have other competitors that are doing the same thing or trying to do the same thing, or?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's not. I mean, at this point, there was a older couple. They retired. They used to be called the Hometown. It was called the Hometown Magazine. Yeah. They were great. They had a great magazine. They were a quarterly magazine, but they retired, so that's gone. I mean, the closest thing that I could think of, it's not even in the mail, is the newspapers. I don't know if you guys know the Miller brothers, Grant Miller and Mike Miller. No. They have about 12 magazines throughout South Florida. They don't really go in the mail though, but I mean, they have a nice, their little newspaper, and they have advertising in there. But besides that, if you want to do any kind of,
Right now, when we were talking, we talked about the flyer, and I was thinking, damn, I hadn't seen one of those in years. I forgot all about that damn thing.
Yeah.
But it was a cool thing back in the day. I just think I think that kind of just, maybe they went digital or something, and then it disappeared or whatever, you know?
A lot of people have gone digital. I know the Millers have gone digital. I know if you want to do your own piece, that's where we come cost effective. If you want to do your own piece by the mail in EDDM, it's called Every Door Direct Mail. When you come printing and mailing, I mean,
those come every day in the mail. There's
right.
all kinds of
but what I'm saying is each piece will cost you 40, 50 cents a piece. You know, so if you want to do 10,000, like what I'm doing, you're going to spend $5,000. Or for me, you're paying cents. You're paying cents per piece if you add it up, and you're getting exposure every month. You know,
you mean for you by
a fraction of the cost,
by being on the magazine,
right? At a fraction of the cost, they see you every month versus doing your own piece as a small business. Like I said, if you go to 10,000 homes, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars.
And you guys
each month.
Paying
that's one drop.
A ton of money to USPS, aren't
that's
you?
only one drop. Oh yeah, we're a big customer at USPS with 6 magazines. It's more than 6 figures a year just in USPS.
Do you guys deliver it like to the post office?
Yeah. So to save money, we go all the way. So we actually we package it up, we check it in Doral, which is the main headquarters, and then we go to the corresponding depending on which magazine it is, because if not, it costs us a lot more. If we could drop it off in Doral and they would do it, but it's more money.
But they'll charge you for it.
Of course.
But instead, you'll go to each one of the big processing centers and drop it off here.
Yeah, so the one corresponding to that zip code. Yeah, we drop it off there. And then, it takes them a few days to, we get the proof. My product, I can tell people, is black and white. I guarantee 1,000 homes, and I show them the proof when I drop it off. Even we take pictures and everything. Some people, are, hesitant. I'm like, we take pictures. I'll give you the proof from USPS. This is black and white. I'm not promising you. I guarantee 10,000 homes. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And typically, how long do you have a customer stay with you?
On the average,
is there like a drop off? I mean, I'm sure there's some that are like ride or die that have been there forever and always will.
Right.
And then maybe you say, well, the majority of them are going to be this amount. And then you got always that one off that think they're going to get rich on the first 2 or 3 weeks, and they didn't get what they wanted, and then it's gone.
Exactly. I mean, I would say the average would be 4 to 6 months. Average. There's those people, exactly. You meet them the first day and they think, they're going to spend $400 for an ad and they're going to become millionaires. Oh, because they do the math, there's 10,000 homes are going to get it, and I'm going to get a 10% rate of conversion. So I said, if that was the rate of conversion, I would not sell $400 ads. My ads would be a lot more money. It's the truth. At the end of the day, I sell exposure. Every month, 10,000 homes are getting it. People are seeing you every month. It's exposure. That's what it is.
And how many? I mean, obviously they're different sizes, right? But approximately how many ads are in each?
In each magazine, there's 24 ads.
20.
There-
Oh, you
there's-
said that before. That's
yeah,
right.
there's two. There's two. This is actually bigger than a standard sheet of paper. So we have the single ad, which is 5.25 by 4. The double ad, which is 8 by 4.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice, man.
Very simple, very simple. And I mean, again, for what you spend to go 10,000 homes, it's a fraction of the cost of a lot more things. I mean, social media is great. It's really expensive when you really get into the social media thing, and it is great. I get that. But for a fraction of the cost, these people that don't have big budgets still get their name out there in the corresponding
Couple
area.
questions.
Yeah.
Are you at all concerned or worried that the digital stuff is going to phase out the print?
I am not. I'm not, because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to hold me back is myself. I make the sales. I keep them full. People get results. Yeah, it has phased a lot different. My competitors have, they've retired. Like you said, the flyer. The flyer was never a picture. Ours is a lot more picture based.
No, yeah, it was black and white.
It was black and white.
It
right.
kind of felt like a comic book,
Yeah.
and it was about the size of a comic book.
Yeah, it did its time, and but the only way it would happen was, which I've already heard one country.
It was like classified ads, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you put for sale and stuff like that. Yeah, ours is like like I said, when you get in the mail, it's the biggest actual piece that you could put in the mail. So it's bigger than any envelope. It gets your attention.
Yeah,
even if it's for a split second.
This one, and then the other one that's like all coupons.
Yeah, there's another one.
The color coupon one. You know what I mean?
There's also like a little Valpak thing or something.
Oh yeah, the Valpak.
I mean, again, that's an envelope. This stands out. That's an envelope that you could easily discard. Mine.
No, and it's bulky. So when you go to the mail, the first thing you do is you put all your mail in and you fold it and you take it in.
Exactly.
And then when you go home, something usually catches your eye.
Even for a split second, if I get your attention, hey,
yeah,
I got your attention. Exactly.
It worked.
Yeah.
Next thing. The artwork for all this stuff or whatever, do you do it? Does someone else do it? Are you starting to incorporate AI in anything that you're doing? How does that work?
I have graphic designers. We are looking into that, the AI, because I have clients that we it's included in the fee, the graphic design, but clients are doing their own artwork with AI and it looks great.
There's a couple of parts of your business, right? So there's the actual going out there, getting the customer. Then there's actually the graphic design part. There's the printing. It's once a month. So is it to the point where every day you're doing something and you're super busy? Or is it actually a couple days in the week where we're really busy and we're chill most of the time or doing other businesses and doing other things?
Yeah, since it's, like I said, me and my cousin run it, we have flexibility, obviously. We have flexibility. There's days... I mean, if we close everything out and we're done and we package everything up, yeah, it's a lot more flexibility. Obviously, I'm not a 9 to 5, I have the flexibility. But now we have days where sometimes we'll have a little more, people will cancel more than others. So then obviously you got to work a little more. So yeah, sometimes it is. If we have a low rate of cancellation, it's a great month where I can work less.
Oh, what happens if you get some cancellations and there's like open space? Yeah. Nobody wants open space because that gives the bad idea.
We have a clause where I make them. We say 30 days in advance. If you're going to cancel, I need to know 30 days in advance. So you give me a month
to replace.
Right, because I've had that with clients where they try to cancel a week before. I'm like, I tell them I have 24 spots. I'm not a magazine where I can't have a blank in my magazine. I can't. So a month in advance. That's it. 30 days in advance, and I make them initial it. I don't even sign people to contracts. I'm like, look, I've never taken anyone to court over this. Just give me 30 days in advance. And I'm nice. If it's 3 weeks in advance, if I have no problem with that. But don't call me 5 days before I go to print and say, oh, I can't do it, No, come on, man. I'm a good guy here. Don't do it to me. I'm not going to take you to court, but it's just fair. Yeah.
How do you do the billing and stuff? Do you do email billing? How's that? Is it still old school? What's the...
Yeah, so when I sign somebody up, we get their credit card on file, and it's just a recurring cost. I tell them, look, we go out every month. If you want any changes, you call me. I'll pass by. I don't run your card till I see you. When I pass by with a new flyer, I go, look, here's this month's flyer. We're going to run the card that day. And we just have that's right. You got to have the credit card on file because trying to find people with checks, and everything else.
Yeah.
You've heard all the stories with checks.
Yeah.
I have no more checks. The dog ate the check, and
Nobody
with a credit
uses
card.
checks no more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm sure some businesses do. But
we deal with a couple of them, obviously, but for the most part, credit card on file, it's a recurring payment. Recurring payments are always smooth.
that's yeah.
It works out better that way.
And
yeah.
not only that, but you have to cancel it, right?
Yeah,
So if
and
you didn't
I
cancel it-
don't have to call you. You never want to call a client for what? With a check, now I got to talk to the client, and with a recurring cost, it just keeps on going. You let me know. You let me know when you want to cancel. It works better.
So Ari, I always like to ask this question at the end of my podcast, and I tell people, if you were to meet your younger self again and give yourself some advice, because that's exactly the guys and gals that are watching this, is people that are on the come up. Some of them are much farther along in the come up, but some are still in the come up, and they're working on getting their sales good. Some of them are good, really good, just not great yet. You know what I mean? What kind of advice would you give them? What kind of advice would you have given yourself?
Well, given myself, I at one point in my life when I was young, I chose the wrong path, and I started, selling drugs and stuff like that. I would tell myself, give myself a kick in the ass and said, imagine where I'd be if I would have started earlier with, like my mom always said, my gift of God was to be a salesman. I'm a natural born salesman. So if I would have gone around the right path, how successful would I be? At what level could I be, The sky's the limit. And I tell anybody, whether I'm a natural born salesman. If you are, great. Some people aren't. Do what you love. At the end of the day, if it's sales, great. But if not, for me, I wake up every morning. I love what I do. This is not even, to me, it's not even work.
How early do you wake up, by the way?
Now I'm waking up around 7. Before I used to wake up later because I've changed my life. I've lost a lot of weight.
Congratulations.
So now I'm waking up. I do a little meditation. I do a little praying. I go
That
to
was
the
my
gym.
next thing. What's your morning routine like?
Yeah, so I wake up. My routine has changed drastically. So I wake up now with some warm water and lemon, some chia seeds. Then I'll wake up, just meditate a little bit, some breathing. Then I try not to look at my phone for a while. Then I get into, I'll do a little morning walk to get some sunlight, some little vitamin D.
Yeah.
A little morning walk. Then I started eating something, and then I'll start looking at my phone and, seeing, setting up my day. I go to the gym for an hour. That's my new routine. I go to the gym at least 3-4 times a week. I train, come home, take a shower, and then I probably get going like around 10.
And that's when your work day starts.
Yeah, because I don't like traffic.
Coffee, no coffee.
I have coffee. Now my new thing is I used to wake up and drink coffee. That's a bad thing for your gut. I used to do it all the time. Yeah. I've changed my life now. I drink the warm water with lemon, throw some now, get your stomach going. That way you get it going. And let me tell you, I'm 50 years old. I feel the best I felt in my life now. I wake up with energy. It's amazing. I can't even tell you. It's amazing because I've changed my diet. I've changed everything. And that goes through the whole day.
Last thing, because we went on this tangent.
Yeah.
The importance of your morning routine. How has that changed everything else that happens afterwards?
Imagine so like I said, because of everything I do now, I have so much more energy. It just goes, when you see your clients, you have more energy, you're more, everything goes through better. You have better communication. I mean, I can't even say it, man. The other day I told my friend, I feel the way I feel now, I feel richer than Elon Musk. That's how I feel. That's the energy I have now. It's amazing, man.
That's really good. That's really
for real.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, Ari de los Santos. My name is Coach CeeLo. I have helped thousands of salespeople reach, attain, maintain 6 figures. You keep listening to us. You'll be the next. We're out of here.